Hi everybody, it's Elizabeth Schnoch. I'm doing our next vlog, which I said I would do on the subject of impeccability, just so that you know where I'm coming from with these blogs, or vlogs as we call them these days. I have discovered through my own life that one of the things I did get growing up was academic schooling. So I always thought I was like really very clever and very smart, and I did well at all the intellectual activities that we had, and I did well at school. And then when I got to university, I continued along the same vein. And then I started to enter life proper, and that's where I started to hit my head against a brick wall. But notwithstanding that, I still managed to become very successful. I went into the corporate world and got myself a big job there and everything that goes with it. But eventually, even in that area, which was a safe area for me, things started to fall apart. And it's at that point that I went to that I started my journey of looking to see why it was that with everything that I thought I had at the tips of my fingers, I just wasn't getting my life inwardly to work. And that's when I discovered that I'd had academic schooling, but I hadn't had true education as such. So for me, these vlogs are very much a sharing of my own experience in my life, of the tools that I've picked up along the way, all the practical tools I've picked up along the way, and would like to share them with you. And really, these tools aren't anything new to you, I am sure. But what I am sharing is that when you are getting something right in your life, where you actually feel like you're winning and you're actually progressing in some way or another, what we don't realize is that in every single process of that, we've actually gone through a step-by-step process. There's been a logical one step after the other. And so when we get things right, we think that it's a major fluke, that it's something out of the ordinary, sometimes even a miracle that we managed to actually get something right, so to speak. And then when we're not actually making progress in some way or another, we think we're doing something wrong. Whereas in actual fact, all we need is a course correction. And so the tools that I'm going to give you are really to share that what those steps are that you have been taking when you actually are moving forward in your life. And so that when you do get into any sort of a place, you can retrace your steps and you can say, okay, I did that step, oh, it's this one I missed, it's this one. So if I put that into place, now I've done my course correction and I'm on my way. So what I'm wanting to share today is on the topic of, or the subject of impeccability. I did say in my first vlog when I was talking about our approach to 2017, that if you add up the numbers of 2 and the 1 and the 7, you're going to get a 10. And I'll share a link at the end of this vlog where you can get access to the book that I use on numerology, the material that I use to work out all the numbers in my life. And so this is very much based on that, and the number 10 is the number of impeccability. What does this actually mean? Now, this is one word. If we were all taught this when we were little, we could make great strides in improving our self-image. All of us, and it never ceases to amaze me. I have people coming into course rooms, retreat rooms from all over the world, from all continents. And the one thing that we have in common right across this planet is that we are all subjected to the same social conditioning, the same rules of society, which, if you had to boil it down to one thing, would be the disease to pleasers, as Oprah would probably call it. It's wanting to do things for other people's approval, and we start that process when we're very little. I can cover that in another vlog in more detail, but I just wanted to share that when it comes to the word impeccability, if we were all taught this right across the planet, the self-image of each one of us would improve dramatically, and it's never too late to start. So what does impeccability actually mean? Because we do create with the words that we use, so we need to actually be very careful in trying to understand each other, to keep on checking, well, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by using that word? And so I share with you our definition of impeccability, which is simply to do the best that you can at any given moment in time, using all the information and the knowledge that you have in that moment. When I talk about knowledge, I'm talking about the knowledge that has come from your own practical experience. You have had certain experiences in life, and out of that you've learned certain things, to do them or not to do them again, and you've created your own knowledge bank. So whenever something comes along in our life, a challenge or whatever it may be, that's the first place we're going to dip into, is that knowledge bank of ours. Or we're going to, we might have had a lot of information about something, but not necessarily a practical experience. But when a challenge comes along, that's the way to approach it. We will actually look for all the knowledge and the information we have in that moment, and sometimes it is a split second. We don't have 5 minutes or 10 minutes to sit and work out what to do next. But as long as we're doing our best in that moment, and that is the critical part, in that moment, using all the information and the knowledge we have at our fingertips in that moment, then that is when we are being impeccable. When I say it's to do the very best that you can, what do I mean by doing? You see, there we need to clarify as well. Doing for me includes whatever I am feeling about something or somebody. I'm going to be having thoughts about it. I'm going to be having feelings. I'm going to be having emotions about it. Now, am I actually going to be speaking what I feel? Or am I going to be feeling one thing and saying another thing? And then even doing another thing? So doing for me the best that you can must mean that in that moment, at any one point in time, your feelings, your emotions, and your words, your actions must all be in synchronization with each other. They must all be in sync. Just so that you know, I have been told, and I possibly should have said this at the beginning, is that I do have a funny accent. It's a South African accent, for those who don't know, and hence the subtitles that we are putting now into the vlogs, so that at least you can grasp what I'm saying. So to give you a practical example then, in the previous vlog, it was my maiden one, the first one that I did. I actually put it together, presented it, put it onto YouTube, and then I started to get feedback that I wish I could actually understand your accent, or I only get a little bit of what you're saying, and I'm trying to grasp and I really want to listen, but I can't really understand your accent. And so I have now got somebody who used to work for me at the Institute for the Study of Man many years ago, Christina Botton, who's now in New Zealand. I'm in Cape Town, South Africa, and she's now transcribing the vlogs for me, so at least we can have the subtitles and you can grasp what it is I'm saying. So did I feel bad about the fact that nobody could understand, or very few people could understand my accent, especially if you haven't met me before in person? Well, I could have felt really bad, and I could have felt a failure, and I could have thought, wow, you know, I really could have done that differently. But you see, in that moment that I did that vlog, it didn't occur to me that people would struggle with my accent. 1 second later, 1 moment later, I can get different information coming to me. And now it's time for me to make a course correction. So in that instance, I was impeccable. I was being true to myself, and that I did what I felt was the best at the time, and I carried it through in my actions. Now that I've got new information, it would be very remiss of me to produce another vlog which does not have any subtitles. I hope that that has given you a practical scenario, a practical application of what I mean by impeccability. So if you're ever going to look back in your life, only ever look back to see how far you have come. Don't ever look back to make yourself wrong, because whatever you did back then, a year ago, 2 years ago, a week ago, 30 years ago, if you feel and you know in your heart you did it with the very best of intentions, and you did the very best you could with what you had at your fingertips as information and knowledge at that time, then you were impeccable. The mere fact that 5 minutes, 5 years, or 50 years later you get new information does not make what you did wrong. And this is so critical if you're a parent, and if you're a child of a parent. If your parents did the best that they could with all the knowledge that they had available to them and the information at that point in time when you were growing up, then they did the best they could and they were impeccable. I hope that helps you a little bit in terms of your approach to this year, if that's the only thing that you work with this year, your approach to a 10-year so that we don't fall into old traps is to do the very best that you can at any given moment in time, using all the information and the knowledge that you have in this moment. Thank you for listening. And if you have any suggestions for any future vlogs, please send an email to us. The details are at the end of this vlog.